Hi, so this is the first in our new series on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to be interviewing some of our team, starting with our youth workers, about how they got into working at LYP, how they got into youth work in the first place, just a chance for you to get to know a bit more about our team. So enjoy. The first one is with Mikey. First question, what's your job at LYP?
I am Senior Youth Worker at Leatherhead Youth Project, and I oversee the Leatherhead side of things.
And how did you initially get into youth work?
Oh man, that goes way back. So I first got into youth work when I was 18. I won't say how old I am now, but it was quite a long time ago. I'd actually initially dropped out of A-levels. Academically, I wasn't that great. I struggled a bit, and I thought, this isn't for me. I don't want to torture myself. So I did leave when I was 17, started working in Sainsbury's. But a friend of mine who was doing youth work at the time kind of came along. I said, I think you're a bit wasted here at Sainsbury's. Why don't you try and do some youth work with me? We started doing youth work at a church together. And I learned so much from him in terms of how to actually give myself a bit of a kick up the bum, in terms of really accessing my true potential, which I think I kind of felt I lost when I was at school. So he really helped kind of draw out that kind of natural instinct, and being able to just connect with others. I think that's what I found like the most interesting.
Nice. And what job did you end up doing before you went into youth work?
Before I went into youth work proper, I actually, when I had my kind of taster of doing this youth work at 18, I left that role 2 years later and started doing work as a teaching assistant at a local secondary school, kind of near where I grew up. I absolutely kind of loved doing that, and I thought it was a good way for me to kind of pick up some experience in the role, and a different way of working with young people as well. And I saw it as a really good opportunity to just get a lot of training under my belt. So I did that initially at secondary school for 6 years. And then I moved on to working at a college, a sixth form college, for 4 years. Again, in a kind of a TA role, but more in a pastoral care role. And that's where I learned to did my level 2 and level 3 in counselling there as well.
Nice. What was your favourite part of that role?
Getting to work with students or young people that kind of reminded me of myself. So we're in school, we're in an education system that they really struggled in. They weren't bad kids at all. I was doing a lot of behaviour management stuff at the time, and found working with those kind of young people, it was more the frustration that led to those behaviours. And actually, they're great kids, and they just needed a little bit of guidance in terms of what they can achieve themselves. And it might not be them that's flawed; it's actually the system that was flawed at the time, I think. And they just kind of got left behind and struggled with it. And I had a real heart for that, so I just really wanted to help them out. And kind of watching that journey along the way, and watching them achieve, was really great.
How did you then end up at LYP?
Okay, so I've actually been volunteering with LYP over kind of my entire working life. So up until I got the job at LYP, I've been volunteering with them kind of on and off for about 11 or 12 years. So I have a real history there. I love the work they were doing, the kind of youth work model. Just really kind of rang with me, resonated with me. So I kept an eye on kind of wanting a job there for quite a long time. And every time a job came up in the past, time wasn't right, or I was off doing something else. But luckily there was a role that came up. I was in the right time in the right place, and I thought I needed to go for it. I went through a grueling interview process, which lasted quite a few hours, but it was really good. And I think it showed just how committed LYP were to finding the right youth worker, and luckily I was that right youth worker.
And now this is where we're at. What's your favourite bit about working at, or like what do you love about working at LYP?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's quite a few layers to it. One, I love working with the team that we're currently working with, like yourself, and people like Hope and Aaron, Aura, Alex, Jude, Dave, all those guys. Just really fantastic people to work with. It's helped that I've known a few of the guys for quite a long time. So Jude and Alex, I've known the longest. So sometimes it's coming to work, working like really good friends, but also working with people that are true professionals and really love their job and take their job seriously. So it's great working in a team like that. I also love just interacting with young people and doing it like the way that we set up, seeing them kind of 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. And that's really special. It can feel intense and quite full on and draining at times, but actually it's a really special time to be able to spend time with these guys and share their lives and share their stories. And that's really exciting. I think when there's like a difficult time with a young person and you're going through that with them, you're sharing that experience, and then they come out the other side of it, and it's a real celebration.
Amazing. And finally, what are you looking forward to?
So as we speak, we are going through this global pandemic. So what I'm most looking forward to right now is kind of getting back to normal, as it were. So opening up B3, which is our daily drop-in centre, seeing those young people interacting. But beyond that, what I'm really looking forward to is, I think, working with other organisations that see this model that LYP work with and helping grow that and expand that, believing in kind of that daily youth work, investing in young people's lives in that way. I think, and being able to give that to other people to run with and do, I think it's really exciting for me. Looking forward to that in the future, definitely.
Right. And extra question, I said finally. Do you have a favourite project at the moment?
I think so, yeah. It's a toss-up. They're both kind of residential. One would be Freestyle, which runs in the Easter holidays, where we take up to kind of 40 to 50 young people away for like 4 days or so and just do crazy games. It's a chance for the leaders to let loose, but it's also a chance for the young people just to be young people again. But then there's also Into the Wild, which I think is a project that's kind of really at my heart at the moment, is about getting young people out into the wilderness, enjoying open spaces, but also stretching and challenging them. And what I talked about earlier is kind of journeying with a young person. That project, I think, is ideal for that. We put them through their paces. We take them up a mountain in Wales. We get them doing self-led walks in the Surrey Hills, and then having to set up camps that only include like an open fire and hammocks and stuff like that. And so to be able to see a transformation in that, I think that's why it's one of my favourites.
Cool. That is all of my questions. Thanks, Mikey.
Awesome. You're welcome.